Hey, everybody, this is Monica, and I'm here today with Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey, Monica. Hey, everyone.
Week 3. We are on the 3rd episode of divorce. And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, how to talk to our kids about divorce. What to say, when to say it, all kinds of questions. It's a very important topic.
And very important and very hard step. And every parent who's getting divorced go through this ordeal, how to talk, when to talk, and what to say. And today, with your experience, of course, and our coaching field, we're gonna go through this, and hopefully we're gonna make it easier to the parents who are telling their children now that they're getting separated.
Okay, so the first question is when. When happens after you and the husband, we're going to call him husband now because you're not yet divorced, sit together and make a plan. You can't just go up to your child and say, this is what's going to happen. This is happening. You have to have a conversation. You have to sit down, if you can sit down with them. But it's very important to sit down and make a plan as to what is going to happen. How are we going to talk to the children? What are we going to say? So you don't rush into this. You sit with each other because you have to be on the same page as to what you say. The children don't need the details. They just need to know that this is what's going to happen. The parents love them, and they are going to do what they can to make it a safe transition from home to home. But a plan needs to be in order. If they need to seek help, they do. That's what I do. Part of what I do is I sit down with the parents, I mediate, and we set up a plan. But very important not to rush into this, because this is the next chapter. So you have to build a foundation that's very stable for them. And you don't need to go into details.
And it's very important, if possible, to be both of you there while having a conversation.
And also have it in a time where you set up a time where they're not distracted. And it's very important to give them space to speak. So it has to be a safe space, and you just have to listen. You're going to ask, are there any questions you need answering? We are both here to answer it. It's time. You're going to say whatever works for you, but not so much detail. Just say, Mom and Dad, just as you can see, we haven't been getting along for a while, and it's no longer healthy for us to be in the same home. But it doesn't mean it has anything to do with you guys. It is a safe space. You'll be moving to your dad's and you'll be moving here, but we will work on a plan, and you can give us input. What works for you? At any stage, what you need from me, ask me. Would you like to go to therapy? Would you like help in this? I am always here to talk to you and answer the questions, but I don't know everything. And I am going through, this is as much a change for me as it is for you. So I'm going to be navigating it. Obviously, you're going to speak the language of the child depending on their age, but you're going to explain to them that you don't know. You're figuring it out, and you'll tell them as you figure it out. But we're going to make it as safe for both of you as we can. And we would like your input. What would you need? What works better for you? At any time you just want to cry or emotions, it's all normal. So be there for them, but explain that you're also vulnerable. You don't know what's going to happen.
I'm totally with you, Monica. I just want to add that it's very important also to say to the children that it's not their fault and that is not, there's nothing that is because of them. Because children tend to think maybe because I did this or maybe because I did this. So it's very important to create the safe space where it's not your fault and you are welcome and you are safe to share your opinion, to get angry even, to cry. And we're here to answer the questions that we can answer.
That's it. So just be vulnerable with them. Just tell them, we're navigating this. And also tell them, you must be seeing around you that mom and dad are not getting along very well. And it's not a healthy environment. So in other words, you're like reassuring them that what they have been seeing in their home hasn't been healthy. So also you're reiterating that this is not a healthy relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many things you're teaching them to speak their feelings, to connect with you, and that you're not the hierarchy and they're the kid. You're also trying to figure out while you help them.
You're a strong team and you can rely on each other.
And also, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Monica, are you with the idea of practicing before going?
Of course.
Yes, I always advise my clients to, like practice what you want to say.
And write notes.
Write it. Yes, you're a big fan of writing.
I'm a paper and pen girl, okay? So write notes. Point 1, we're gonna talk about. Point 2. And also, if you're doing it, both of you together, make sure that you don't speak all the time. Like have it set where it's give and take, where the father gets to talk, the mother gets to talk, the father gets to talk, the mother gets to talk. So that, and then have space where you stop. Don't always talk and not listen. Just give the child time. Don't save them. Just let them have space to speak. And do not interrupt the child as the child is talking. Just give the child the space to say, this is how I feel. And don't tell the child it's going to be okay. Just tell them, what do you need from me when you say this? So get the child to teach you what they need. Don't assume you know what they need.
And how can I make it better? Maybe it's not gonna be okay for now, but we can all work together to have it as healthy as possible, as tolerable as possible.
And another thing you need to say, mom is going to go through emotions. Or dad, depends. But maybe the dad doesn't show the emotions as the mother does. But let's say you're going to see mom cry. You're going to see mom go through sadness. It's not a bad thing. She's grieving the relationship and how she's going to move forward. So don't be too sad when you see your mom sad, because she is feeling her emotions like I'd like you to feel your emotions.
Exactly. Showing vulnerability allows the children to also be able to express themselves and to cry if they want, and to, show this side of them.
Okay. So what other points? When we said,
Monica, I know that when you passed through it, you had your own kids. So how did you?
So when I passed through it, I had different age gaps. Exactly. So I had 5 years old, and I had 12.
So did you?
12, obviously, we spoke to him.
Or did you end up doing two different conversations?
Two different conversations, and I did not sit with my, I spoke to my children. It wasn't an option at the time. I don't think it would have been an option anyway, but I spoke to my kids, but they kind of figured it out. They kind of saw what was going on. Actually, one of my kids, when I spoke to them, the younger ones, they said, Are you talking about separation, divorce? My friend, I don't know, Jennifer in school, they are going through this. So they kind of, I mean, let's be clear, most of the kids these days, their parents are probably divorced.
There's a
And the
big
mother comes on one day, the father comes on another. So they are already exposed. So they kind of saw the transition of the relationship ending, but they didn't understand what was going on. So when I made it clear to them what was happening, they were like, okay, but I'm not going to tell you it was not a difficult stage, especially when you're moving homes and when your parent is no longer in the same house at the same time. That was very difficult for them to adjust to the different home. But it took time and took stability and took a lot of work. It's stages, it's a journey.
of course.
So at each stage, you have to be there, listening to them and talking through it with them and being the comfort for them.
Exactly. And how can we support them throughout the stage? One talk is very important, but it doesn't end there. The kids are processing, they're grieving their nuclear family dynamic, they're in shock maybe, and sometimes do not share. So how do you really keep track of this transformations happening, and when do you intervene if needed?
So I would recommend that if the mother has some, or the father, there is a support group in their area, they join. Because this is like you would be going to a grieving support group. I went for 14 weeks, it was. I can't remember. There were 13 other women there, and it was a stage, one stage after the other, different, we did the denial and the different, that stage of grief. We learned how to, and each time we needed to be there, and we needed to cry, and we needed to feel our emotions, and we needed to be held space for. So if there's a grieving there and you can go to a support group, I recommend that. I coach people on this exact thing. Sometimes I coach the whole family. Sometimes I coach, it depends. I take it as the journey. Where are we at now? Is it the mother's time? Do I need to talk to the kids? So it becomes like a package where who's struggling. But sometimes I just coach the parent so she can navigate. Because remember, children, if they're young, they're not going to be able to verbalize it. So you have to train the parent as to talk to the child in the language that they speak. So it's really parenting classes. And picking herself up again, because she's going to go through grief and then she has to rebuild. Or he, we're not just talking about the woman. I'm just using woman now as this is the main, but it's a step. It's like a 12-week program in rehab. Well, she's going to have to rehabilitate her life because she's gone from being a mother and wife and stuff, and now she's going to have to become a single woman who has to rebuild and has to learn how to do her own stuff by herself, learn to navigate single parenting, learn how to navigate so many things. So she needs classes. It's like going to school to learn this. She can try to do it on her own, but if you have a teacher,
why reinvent the wheel? If you have a support system, if you know someone who can help, why do it alone? It's
honestly, I had to learn it the hard way and through different things. So I have a system going now that makes it easier for people. And you need, it's like a trainer. You are going to need a trainer. Like you have a trainer for workout, you need a trainer to get you through this. You know? And a few tips before we finish. Respect, respect, respect. I don't care how much you hate your ex. I really don't. Trust me. You don't say anything bad about them. You want to say shitty stuff about them, sorry for the word, you take the paper and pen and you throw it and dump it in a bin.
You vomit the ugly stuff on the
vomit
paper.
the ugly stuff on a paper and pen.
But
between
when
you
moving
and them.
to the when moving to the conversation with the children, remember, this is the mother or the father of this of these tiny kids, of these kids. This is not your partner. So do not transfer or transmit your hate, your anger of the moment into this conversation. I know that's hard. That's why practicing is key. Practicing
And doing the work
yes.
is key. And another thing that's very, very, very important, how they see their mother and how they see their father are examples of who they become. So the masculine is who their father is. So you bashing the father teaches the child, the girl, to bash the man in her life later on. So you've got to think very carefully before anything you say. Take the paper and pen, join the kickboxing class if you need to, beat the crap out of whoever you want outside. But when you come back home and you talk to your kids, it's with respect. It's always with respect. Because you may hate them now, but you are going to have a relationship with them for the rest of your life. As long as your kids are alive and they're with you, you're going to have to co-parent. You're going to have to go to events. You're going to have to do so many things. So you have to get along. And now you hate them, that word will be used, that will become a memory in that child's mind. You keep respecting them. It's your father, it's the masculine in her life or in his life, the feminine. Also the woman for the son and the father for the son. If you keep telling them your dad's a deadbeat, this kid is seeing the masculine as a deadbeat. So you're gonna have to fake it for a while until you're able to make it.
Change the narrative, like really control your words, especially when it's with children. Children see, children do, they say, no? So let's set a good example and allow them to really, like you say, respect the masculine and the feminine that is in the image of their father or their mother.
Because honestly, I spend so much time in my work going back to childhood with my clients and healing the masculine and healing the feminine. So please give me less work to do and do it with your children now, because they don't need therapy later if you work on this as when they're kids. You give them the tools now. They don't have to do this heavy, I hated my father when I was a kid, I hated my mother when she was, and have all that work to do. So that's our episode for today. If you have any questions, you know where to find us. If you need help in moving forward, you know where to find Jennifer, you know where to find me. That's it. Till next week.
Very interesting, Monica. Thank you again for the vulnerability, for sharing your story. And for our viewers, if you would like to share any comments, testimonial, any question you have, please do get in touch on our pages, and we're here for you.
Yeah, I think we have one more episode of the divorce segment, and then we have something exciting in store.
Two nicer things,
more. We have something very, very exciting in store for you all.
Frog in the beginning. We started with the hard conversations.
Then we're going to something much more interesting. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye. Bye. Bye.